Good evening. Welcome to We the People Prepping. This is Dan. Tonight, let's talk a little about fascism. Where does fascism come from? Where does it lead? Well, I think most of us pretty much know fascism is a major part of socialism and communism. Fascism starts out pretty simple, as in the media, they will start ever so slowly leaning in one direction, leaning away from telling both sides of the story. They will tell you bad things about the other side, but they won't report on the bad things that their side's doing. Okay, so they give you a skewered view of what's going on, and try to push their narrative and their beliefs, and it starts out really subtle, and then you start building up, like we've seen it with our own mainstream media nowadays. Not just mainstream media, but online media, social media platforms. They've all become fascist. There's just no other way to put it. They will, well, like on Facebook, they started doing that fact check thing. Okay, but I noticed I could post anything I wanted that was leftist leaning, socialist leaning, Democrat. I could post it. They wouldn't ever cover it up. It could be as fake as I wanted it to be. I could say the most random bull that you'd ever seen, and they would not censor it. They would not fact check it. But when I posted something conservative, something constitutional, something factual, they would censor it, try to fact check it. And when you looked at their fact checks were always some screwed up leftist journalist that they got their information from. Okay. This year alone, on my Facebook, I was censored so bad. I mean, they kept putting me in I guess you'd call it Facebook jail, over posts. I posted, but they were doing this because of my conservative views. Okay, you can't. There's no way that you can tell me that it wasn't. They put me in Facebook jail over this picture that I'd posted. It was a man and a woman, and it showed from here up on them. Okay, now the woman's shoulders were bare, but it didn't show any nudity. Okay, he was kissing her neck. Okay, and it had the caption that said, I kiss your neck simply because of what it does to you. And I tagged my wife in it, because when I kiss her neck, it drives her insane, and so they put me in Facebook jail over that, saying that it contained nudity. Okay, well, how does it? I mean, sure, she had bare shoulders, but it didn't show any, breast or anything like that. I disputed it and I lost it, so I wound up, they actually put me in Facebook jail twice over that same post, even though I only posted it once. The first time was 7 days, then they gave me a 30 days over that same post. Now the funny part about this was the 30-day suspension of my account was the 30 days leading up to the election. Go figure. Here recently, I made a post with a picture of Adolf Hitler, and it was a quote from Adolf Hitler about how to control the people. And they suspended my account again over that picture, saying that I was spreading hatred and that my post could cause harm to people in the real world. I don't see how. It was a historical remark that he had actually made. It was from his book, Mein Kampf. So, letting people know history now is a sin, I guess. You know. But fascism slowly sets in like that. They start censoring little things, and then it builds up and it builds up. And, you know, they put a ban on political posts before the election. That's a censoring. That's part of fascism. Now I noticed too that it was only conservative posts that they'd put a ban on, because I was still seeing a ton of liberal posts about the election. Because yes, I have a mixture of liberals and conservatives on my friends list. I'm not going to unfriend people simply because of their political views. Now, when you start calling names and, you know, like calling me a racist, a fascist, all that kind of stuff, yeah, I'm done with you. You know, and that happened to me several times this year. People I'd been friends with for a long time. A guy I used to work with, I was great friends with him. We worked together for 5 years. We went to the bar together all the time. You know, he was a black gentleman, and you know, because of my political views, he started calling me a racist and all sorts of other things. So, you know, we got into an argument. You know, because, I mean, he'd said all sorts of racist things to me in the past, and I just let him roll off my back, because I don't care. Okay, like, you know, he told me that there was more white trash in my family than in a dumpster behind a paper plate factory. You know, hey, I don't care. I'm a redneck. You ain't gonna offend me. Okay, it's that simple. But, you know, he started just repeatedly calling me a racist and a fascist and all sorts of other things. So, you know, I told him, look, if you're going to be like that, we're done. I can't be friends with somebody that's going to turn on me just because of my political views. Okay, I told him, I don't bash you over your political views. Don't be bashing me over mine. Well, he called me a few slick names, and I just told him bye, and I blocked him, and I was done. You know, and it's a shame, because we were good friends. And, you know, we had a lot of good times together. But, you know, that's the whole point of what they've been doing to us, to bring about, excuse me, to bring about their socialist agenda. Now, this video might get me pulled down. I don't know. But, you know, that's another thing, is YouTube. YouTube today announced that they were going to start pulling down accounts that talked about, you know, the election and whether or not it was rigged or whatever. You know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, if it was rigged, it was rigged. There, you know, that's going to be up to the people to decide. At some point, though, with all the censoring, the fascist way that they treat us, the trying to quiet us, trying to shut us up, it's like we're back in the 30s in Germany. You know, that's how it started out back then. You know, they started controlling the media. They controlled the narrative. They started making sure that people with an opposing opinion were silenced. And that's just what they're doing today with all the forms of media in this country and around the world, is if you have an opposing opinion, they're going to find a way to quiet you down. I mean, that's what this entire year has been about. All the rioting, looting, the protests, all that. It's all been just like back in the 30s in Germany. They had this group they called the brown shirts. They would go around and they would silence anybody that spoke out, spoke up, that had a different view of the way that things should be. Well, what was happening this year? You'd get shouted down for your opinions. You would get attacked for your opinions. It's all reminiscent of history. And I'm sorry, but socialism, fascism leads to socialism, socialism leads to communism. At some point, we're going to have to draw a line and say enough's enough. Personally, I don't care if they close my account. I'm not making any money off of it. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not monetized whatsoever. So who cares? You silence me here, I'll go somewhere else and I'll say what I have to say. It's no skin off my ass. Sorry for the language, but you're not going to hurt my feelings by pulling down my account. I will find another platform to speak my mind on. I have a Rumble account as well. You can go and check that out. It's We the People Prepping on Rumble as well. Over there, I'm not censored. They're not telling me, oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. If you say this word or that word, we're gonna pull down the video. The YouTube and Facebook, they're basically socialism. They have a monopoly on everything. Because everybody is on YouTube and Facebook, and like Rumble's not as well known and as what they are. That's like Parler. They started Parler up as an alternative to Facebook. It's still in its infancy, just like Rumble. But if enough of us wind up leaving YouTube and Facebook and going to these other platforms, then they're going to start losing revenue. When they start losing revenue, then they got to answer to their shareholders. Okay? You hit them where it hurts. And you want to kill your own company, go ahead. Start banning people, start pulling down accounts. Watch how fast you kill your own company. Because there are plenty of other platforms out there that are wanting us to come over there. They're wanting us to come over and tell our side. So go ahead, pull us down, ban us, block us, do whatever you want to do. Eventually you'll have nobody left. You can't silence us. This is a free country. Okay, we will fight. You push us far enough and we will stand up and say enough. Because we do not want to live under a dictatorship. And it's getting that way right now in America. This country, we have lost so many rights. And they don't even teach our children about their rights in school anymore. When I was growing up, they taught you about your rights. They taught you about the Constitution. Okay? I've got a daughter that's in school right now. She's 15 years old. She never had to study the Constitution. She don't know what her rights are. I've had to tell her what her rights are. under the Constitution. That shows that they are trying to take over the country from within. They're trying to turn this into a socialist and communist society. Now, how long is it going to be before we stand up for ourselves? Before we take our country back from these people? You know, I thank God I probably don't have that much longer in this world. But then I've got my children, my grandchildren, that have to suffer through all of what's coming. And if I can stop it, I'm going to do everything I can to stop it. Now, I'm not advocating violence, by no means. I will try everything before I would resort to that level. I mean, I would have to exhaust all other possibilities. But you can't ever rule out the fact that it may come to that. They're pushing for that. They want a revolution. That is what they are trying for. A revolution is a dramatic change in your government. And that is what they are pushing for. And that I've watched here on YouTube where the left have videos on here that call for violence. Violence against conservatives, Republicans, patriots. They openly call for violence against us. And YouTube does nothing about it. They don't shut their channels down. They don't pull their videos down. They come after patriotic Americans, people like you and me, because they are on their side. They want what they want. They don't want freedom. All that most patriots like myself want is to be left the hell alone to chase after that American dream, to live our lives, to be happy, to have the freedom to go out when we want, where we want, do what we want, as long as we're not hurting anybody else. That's what this country was founded on, was freedoms, so that we would not be living under tyranny. But our government and those that are backing these people want tyranny. They want to control our lives. And eventually, we're going to have to stand up. Now, we have started, well, not myself, but there are other people, prepping people here on YouTube that have started a website. And it's basically a freedom coalition to find ways to peaceably protest, to push back, to try to keep our freedoms. Okay? If we all get together and we get enough of us, we can make a change. I mean, only about 3 to 5% of the people out here are members of Belt Loop Matters and Anti-Tifa, you know. Okay, if they can get the changes that they've been bringing about, there are a lot more of us. If we stand up and we push back, we can put a stop to it. But you, all of you, every single one of you patriots out there has to stand up and say enough. So here's what I want you to do. Go to freedomgathering.org. Sign up. You don't even have to use your real name. You can use your screen name. Just sign up at freedomgathering.org. Okay? There's flyers on there that you can print out and pass out. There's letters, pre-made letters that you can print out, sign, send it to your congressmen, send it to your senators, send it to the president, send it to your mayors, send it to everybody. We've also, they've also put on there events that are taking place, rallies and protests and stuff. Go out. Don't get violent. Okay, I'm not advocating violence. But go out there and let your voice be heard. Stand in opposition. Now, I'm not saying to not defend yourself if you're attacked. If you're attacked, by all means, defend yourself. But do not be the aggressor. Do not lower yourself to their level. It is time to take our country back before it's too late. This is Dan with We the People. Join the fight. Better than living on your knees. So, I'm sorry I get a little when it comes to my freedoms being taken away. You should be upset too. Because once our freedoms are gone, we can never get them back. Not without a lot of bloodshed. But this is Dan with We the People Prepping. God bless each and every one of you. Have a good night. I'm out for now.